Welcome back to NewZeroland. So, yeah, we bought a Tesla.
This is the one, yes. Yes, I saw 3 of these parked outside the local Starbucks this morning.
It's weird to say, but this thing has ruined all other cars for me. Like, absolutely. Acceleration, handling, it's just so much better than anything else. It's the luxury alien spacecraft with a fart button. But how did we end up with a Tesla? I'm always interested in hearing about what vehicles people started out with and how they decided on what they're driving now. You know, the whole vehicle evolution of a person. So in this video, I'm going to list off all the cars I've owned so far and explain why this Tesla is so special. Alright, I know this is a motorcycle channel, but my motorcycle is still broken. And I'm sure some of you guys are into cars, right? So in this video, we're talking about cars. I'm also testing out a new camera and microphone setup, so hopefully this is better than just using my phone for everything. Anyway, let's get into it. My first car was a 71 Super Beetle that I got from my uncle for 400 bucks. I'm a firm believer that your first car should be older than you are. I actually got that car when I was 15 years old. And I loved that car, it had such character, but the brakes went out one day and I went under a Lincoln Continental. They had to get a tow truck to like separate us. So that was that. And then my next car was a Geostorm, which I don't think I have any photos of it. I can't find any photos, but it looked like that. It was not a good car, but it was parked down the street and it was for sale. So I needed something right away and I just got that. But a year later, I bought one of the coolest cars ever, which was a Mazda MX-3 V6. It was a 1.8 liter V6, which was one of the smallest V6s in the world at the time. And this is the car I got into street racing with, and so we swapped the engine to a 2.5 liter V6 out of a Mazda Millennia, I think. I took it on a windy mountain road with friends late at night, just being stupid, as you do. And I lost the rear end, the front wheels went into a ditch, spun the whole car around, and I hit this concrete drain thing and just destroyed the car. So it ended up looking like that, unfortunately. Yeah, crashing cars is going to be a theme in this video. And then I bought another MX-3 V6, which was actually the car following me when I crashed my first one. So I bought it from a friend and it was really cool. It was awesome. It was like classy. It had cool wheels on it and stuff, and it was really nice. But for some reason, I don't know. I was craving something even more unique, and so I bought a 1970 Porsche 911 slant nose, which ended up being the worst decision ever because the whole frame under the car was just rusty. Here's a photo of some of the rust. There was a piece of wood, like a 2x4, that the battery was sitting on because the battery tray had just rusted out. There was just a hole. There were a lot of holes in this car because of rust. It was really bad. So I ended up selling that car to somebody who was going to take the body off and just put it on another frame. And then I bought a 2003 Subaru WRX, which was awesome, and I promised myself that I wouldn't take it racing, and then I did, and I crashed it again because that's what I do. Actually, I hit some bumps going into a turn, and I tried to feather the brake, but the ABS kicked in and it just wouldn't brake at all, and so I went through a barbed wire fence. That is to say, one piece of barbed wire went under the car and one went over, and so every single piece of the car was scratched. So I put a huge band-aid sticker on the fender and all these like tick marks of bicyclists that I hit, and on the front, like I replaced the front bumper with this huge ridiculous body kit, and I wrote "Insert Babies" with a Sharpie. That was a fun car. I sold the WRX for another MX-3, a red 4-cylinder, which was just the cheapest. Like it wasn't nearly as good as the V6 model, but it was fun for a while. I just needed something cheap to just cruise around in, and at the same time I had a Toyota Celica that I got for free from my aunts, who it belonged to my cousin, I guess, but my cousin moved away, and so it was like, oh yeah, here, you have this Celica. But then I got a job in Australia, and so I ended up selling everything and just moving to Australia and not owning a car for quite a while. And then I got back from Australia and bought this. It was a 1996 Impreza, it was an automatic. Like, I don't know what I was doing really. I think I only had a few months in California before going back to Australia, and so I just needed a car just to like get around. So then, yeah, sold that, went back to Australia for another year and a half, and then I did the whole nomadic traveling around for work kind of thing. Ended up in Canada, Didn't actually own a car for a couple of years, just had bikes. And so I'll make another whole video about all the bikes that I've owned, and I'll get Jen involved because she's had a lot of cool bikes. But then we moved to New Zealand and I went kind of crazy. So my first car in New Zealand was an MR2 Turbo, as you do. And that was such a perfect car. Like the way it felt to sit in it, and it just looked so cool, and it made awesome turbo noises. And like anytime you would hit a roundabout in the rain, you felt like you were gonna die because you go in and you lift off and it's just like snap oversteer, you're suddenly sideways and you didn't even realize it. But I ended up selling that because it was only a two-seater. We needed something for visitors because my family was coming over to visit and stuff. So I got a Toyota Serra, which it's not really good for passengers because it's like a 2+2, but the two doors were so cool. My friend said it's like driving a snow globe, and I feel like that's the best description of a Toyota Serra. But that car had head gasket problems, and so it overheated and just died. And so we got another MX-3. I guess that's a bigger theme in this video, that I just love MX-3s. They're just so cool. Over here they're actually called AutoZam AZ3s. And then I don't know why I really liked the Toyota Serra, so I found another one. I actually bought this one from a Jetpack Test Pilot. Just insane. Anyway, and then we went on vacation to Japan and we rented an FD RX-7, and we were really big into Initial D at the time, and we still are, but like we found all the cool mountain roads from the anime and we took the RX-7 to those roads, and just we loved the car so much that when we came back to New Zealand we ended up buying one. So yeah, we had an FD RX-7, and at the time the prices were so cheap. It was insane. Like now it's just ridiculous. Like we got our car for 16 grand New Zealand, which is like, if you convert that into whatever dollars you're in, it was so cheap. Now they're worth like 50 grand New Zealand. It's crazy. And then a couple months later I imported an AutoZam AZ1, the one from all my videos. If you go back far enough on this channel you'll see that car. So we officially had the two coolest Mazdas ever. And I actually think that was the car that I kept the longest. I had it for like 3 years. But anyway, yeah, we sold the RX-7 because it wasn't reliable enough, said every person who's ever sold an RX-7. But we bought a Daihatsu Sirion because it seemed more practical, but then we sold the Sirion because it was just garbage. Like, it was just such a bad car, said every person who's ever sold the Sirion. The real reason we sold it was to get an electric car, and so our first electric car was a 2011 Nissan Leaf, just the first gen model. And that was part of our whole mission, to just not buy gas anymore. Like, we had the Zero, we had the Leaf, it was perfect, just all electric. And then the charging started slowing down. Like, you go to a DC station expecting 50 kilowatts and it would only charge at 7 kilowatts. So the battery was degrading really quickly. So we had it about 2 years, and we really wanted another EV. We wanted to sell that and just get something better, but we didn't really have the money at the time, and so just as a strategic step back, we bought a Honda Fit. And I painted the hubcaps orange, and it was just dumb. Like, we kept buying all these cars that were temporary, and we knew it. Nothing was really long term, but we kept the Fit for about 2 years until someone backed into us and crunched up the front. So then we thought, okay, maybe we get something bigger than the Honda Fit so that we have more cargo space, and maybe we can tow the motorcycles to the racetrack, like something that we can keep longer term. So we got a Nissan Murano. It's the 3.5 liter V6, just gobs of power, but the fuel economy, if you can believe this, is worse than the RX-7. It's just mind-blowing. So at this point we really wanted to go electric again, and so we started looking around at Leafs and other options. We borrowed an ENV 200 van from our friend Will, and we thought, oh, maybe this is it. We don't need a motorcycle trailer, we can just put the bikes in the back of the van and take it to the racetrack. But the range still wasn't really good. Like, we'd have to stop and charge before even getting to the track, because the range on those is about 100 Ks or like 60 miles, so it just wasn't enough. We really wanted a Tesla, but these things are, you know, they were still so expensive at the time. But then that same weekend that we were driving the van, New Zealand brought out the EV rebate, which was $8,600 back off a brand new EV. And so we just decided, all right, that's it. Let's just pull the trigger and get a Tesla. And this deal is going until March next year. So if you're looking for a new car in New Zealand, this is amazing. Like, just get an EV. It makes the most sense. So yeah, here we are. This is our 2021 Tesla Model 3. I know this is a weird thing to be excited about because everybody and their grandmas have a Tesla now. Like, you see them everywhere, but it's for a reason. Like, it's kind of like when your friends say, oh, you gotta watch this show on Netflix, it's the best. And you're like, it can't be that good, right? But it totally lives up to the hype. This is hands down the best car I've ever driven. And as you know now, I've owned a lot of cars. But anyway, I just wanted to make a video about this car. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of more videos with this car, and that's kind of why. I just wanted some backstory on how we got a Tesla, why we got a Tesla, and obviously my Zero is still broken, so I'm just going to be shooting Tesla videos for a while, so hope you guys are okay with that. But wait, what about the Cybertruck? Didn't you order a Cybertruck? Yeah, we ordered a Cybertruck, and we're really excited about it because it's so ridiculous, but it's not out in the States for another year, and to get Teslas into New Zealand just takes forever. Like, there are no Model Ys in New Zealand yet. We're still waiting for those, and they've been out in the States for 2 years already. So it's going to be a long time. So it's one of those situations where we didn't want to wait 4 years to get a Tesla when the EV rebate is happening right now, and it's only good until March. So, I mean, we can drive a Tesla while we wait for a Tesla. So it's like, it's awesome. And this car it's amazing. Like, it's really amazing. I can't wait to shoot more videos with it and explain all the cool features and just like how it feels, and yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.